Good morning, everybody. TBH here, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick look at the convention hall entrance that I showed you yesterday. Now, this is the same. If you took a look at the day zero video log video, you'll see that this is actually the same spot. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of people there. Here's the thing. I was hoping to get here a little bit earlier, but the line outside, even for priority, which is press, industry, exhibitors, etc., is completely chaotic. It took me probably around 45 minutes to get through the line, which is why I'm out of breath. I ran all the way to the spot from there on the other side of the convention hall. And I think most of the people I see down there have the 4-day passes, which, considering it's after 9, I think premier people... Oh, maybe not. It sounds like... No, we may actually be on time. Hold on. Let's take a look here. It looks like they're working up the crowd right now. There we are. So I didn't miss it. Excellent. See, even I can be surprised sometimes. So, it looks like they're going to get ready to open this thing up, and I want you to kind of keep an eye on them. Just kind of how, you can already see there's a line, a bunch of people there trying to get in. But I want you to kind of go ahead and keep an eye on just kind of how this crowd moves. It's always kind of a sight. Now, I will say I am a little surprised that, on one hand, there are less people, but don't let that fool you. The reason being is because, like I said, the lines outside are just insanely long right now. It's not even a joke. But I'm going to hold on this for a few more minutes and see if they do. I do spot a couple of premier badges down there, so I think we're okay. Again, I'm sorry for being a little out of breath, but I literally ran across the other... If you've ever been into the Los Angeles Convention Center, I believe where I'm at is West Hall, and I ran from South Hall, or at least, if I'm wrong, reverse those two, but I ran from one end to the other, because the other entrance was a heck of a lot easier to get through. I guess why we're waiting to see what happens, I will go ahead and update you as to what kind of happened last night. So last night was the JAST panel, and it was actually quite a fun time. Like I mentioned, for those of you who don't know, JAST is a visual novel company that publishes VNs and Eroge. And in fact, they were like the only people who did it for the longest time. But they had some really good announcements last night. The biggest of which, I'll just tell you right off the bat for me, was AU Senki Gold. If you've never played AU Senki, it's basically the, take all the historical figures of the world, so like Columbus, Geronimo, Napoleon, King Arthur, things like that. Basically almost kind of like maybe people you would think of in like Fate, except they're all women, and they are all romanceable. Basically, as you take over the world slowly, you will basically be able to add these people to your party and eventually romance them. The PlayStation 3 version of the game is an all-ages affair, and you can still find that on the PSN if you want. There also is, I believe, an all-ages version on Steam through JAST, and there is an 18-plus version. AU Senki Gold, though, is kind of... It's not quite like DLC or like a direct sequel. It's a spiritual sequel. It's kind of a refinement of the game with a slightly altered plot. So that is something I am very much looking forward to. It was a fantastic game. I adored it, and I always will. It's one of those games you're like, oh yeah, I'm always ready for more of that. Aside from that, let's see, what the heck else did they talk about? I'm sorry, I don't have my notes out in front of me. There was an Otoko no Ko game that was announced as well. I want to say it's called The Maidens of the Mountain. No, The Tomboys of the Mountains. For those of you who don't know what an Otoko no Ko game is, it's more commonly referred to as a trap game. But it is males that basically dress up to look like huge females. And they do look quite adorable. I don't have the exact information as to when that's coming out, but I think that is later this year. I'll have a couple of articles out on Hey Poor Player in the week, over the next couple of weeks, talking about a lot of this stuff. And then there were a couple of magical girl type games that are going to also be coming out, which is really kind of cool. One is Yami Zome Revenja, if I'm correct in that pronunciation. And that one looks really kind of cool. Funnily enough, it reminds me, I'm watching it and I'm like, this reminds me of Omega Quintet, except I'm pretty sure it's going to be much more playable. For those of you who don't know, Omega Quintet's not a game. As much as I love the aesthetic of it, the gameplay is just a pain in the neck. But, well, I don't think we're doing much right now. Oh, wait a second. There are people. There's a red shirt down there. But, yeah, I will say that the JAST panel was really fun, and I do recommend keeping an eye on their store. They have some really good stuff. They have actually several Yuri games that are either coming out or have come out recently, so I actually need to look into that myself. I need to start playing a few of those because I love my Yuri. Okay, it doesn't look like they're doing anything, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I will, oops, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and then I will come back when we have some movement. So look for a part 2 of this. All right? Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. Jamata.